Your 4 favorites are Under the Skin, The Handmaiden, Manchester by the Sea, and Antichrist. I feel like I have a solid understanding of your taste because a lot of the movies that I initially thought of ended up being in your longer list of favorites, but that also means I can't recommend a lot of movies that would normally be my go-to choices. Coincidentally, my top 2 choices for you happen to be from the same director, Nicholas Roeg. The first one is Don't Look Now because 2 of the films in your favorites are about grieving parents, plus Antichrist and Under the Skin are both horror films, but not necessarily in the traditional sense, and the same could be said for this movie. The other one is The Man Who Fell to Earth. Despite Under the Skin having a darker style and tone, I think The Man Who Fell to Earth is one of the most comparable movies when it comes to depictions of an alien existing on Earth. Another one of my top choices for you is a very recent release, The Girl with the Needle. It's very bleak and depressing like Manchester by the Sea and Antichrist, and there are other comparisons I could make, but I don't want to spoil anything. I also think you'd like The Brood, which like Under the Skin is a sci-fi horror film, and like Antichrist, it involves a couple whose marriage is falling apart and some questionable forms of psychotherapy. Some other sci-fi horror films I think you'd enjoy since you like Under the Skin are Altered States, either version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Beyond the Black Rainbow, which is from the director of Mandy, and I know that's on your longer list of favorites. Since you like The Handmaiden, another film from the same director that you didn't have marked as watch that I think you'd like is Decision to Leave. I'm still bitter this movie didn't get nominated for Best International Feature that year. A couple other thrillers with sapphic characters like The Handmaiden that I think you'd enjoy are Bound and Thelma, the 2017 one, not the one from last year. Since you like Manchester by the Sea, another Kenneth Lonergan film that I think you should check out is Margaret. This might seem like a strange comparison, but I think you'd like Paris, Texas, because it kind of starts off in a similar way to Manchester by the Sea, where the protagonist is clearly going through something, but we don't know what. And then there's a scene where everything is revealed that kind of feels like an emotional gut punch. Waves, like Manchester by the Sea, deals with grief, guilt, and familial bonds and has Lucas Hedges in a supporting role. I wanted to recommend some more films about grief, and there are 2 Adam McGoyan films that I genuinely couldn't decide between, so I'm going to recommend both: The Sweet Hereafter and Exotica. You already saw most of the movies I'd normally recommend to someone with Antichrist in their favorites, but I think you'd like Trouble Every Day. Woman in the Dunes, like Antichrist, kind of depicts a man and woman isolated in nature. I also think you might like The Piano Teacher because, like Antichrist, it explores the way psychological trauma manifests in a person's desires. This last one is proof that I really try to pick movies that I think each individual person will like instead of just recommending movies that I like, because I personally am not a fan of this film, but I genuinely think you would like In the Realm of the Senses.